Welcome to the third episode of Cartoon Sports and Comic Brawl Club. And here we do matches between your favorite sports players, video game characters, and also cartoon characters. Today we are going to deal with comics. You know how everyone likes comics, so let's get it started. Oh, by the way, if you didn't watch the episodes before this, please click on the links below in the description. So before we get into the match, let's give a great shout out to tonight's animator, Scout the Dog 1. Go to his channel and subscribe, please. So let's get to the match. Tonight's match is going to be between the Avengers and the Justice League. On Team Marvel is Wolverine, Captain America, Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk. Note, we are not using World Breaker or World War Hulk. We are just using the regular Incredible Hulk from the Avengers movie. Now let's move on. The Almighty Thor. And also Iron Man. So let's start off with Team Marvel's first competitor. It's no other than Wolverine himself, named James Howlett, born in Alberta, Canada. James Logan Howlett has a past with shrouded memories full of government secrets, traumatic events, and death. Wolverine's species is human, mutant, and is standing at 5'3" and weighing 195 pounds. Now let's move to his powers and ability. Wolverine is a mutant who possesses the ability to regenerate damaged or destroyed areas of his structure at a rate far greater than an ordinary human. The speed at which his healing factor works varies in direct proportion with the severity of the damage Wolverine suffers. For example, he can fully recover from an ordinary gunshot wound in a non-vital area of his body within minutes, but it took him almost 2 months to fully recover from injuries sustained in a duel with Lord Shingen, which included from a sword that went all the way through his trunk. Wolverine's natural healing also affords him virtual immunity to poisons and most drugs, as well as enhanced resistance to diseases. For example, it is nearly impossible for him to become intoxicated from drinking alcohol. He also has a limited immunity to fatigue poisons generated by bodily activity, and hence he has greater endurance than any ordinary human. His agility and reflexes are similarly enhanced. In addition, Wolverine's healing factor provides him with extended lifespan by slowing the effects of the aging process. Although over a century old, Wolverine is as healthy and physically fit as a man in his prime. Wolverine also possesses superhumanly acute senses, making him capable of seeing things at a maximum distance greater than normal humans. His hearing is enhanced in a similar manner, and he is able to recognize people, objects by scent, and even if that person or object is hidden. Wolverine can use these enhanced senses to track any creature with an impressive degree of success. Wolverine's skeleton includes 6 retractable 1-foot-long bone claws, 3 in each arm, that are housed beneath the skin and muscle in his forearms. Wolverine can, at will, release these slightly curved claws through his skin beneath the knuckles on each hand. The skin between the knuckles tears and bleeds, but the blood loss is quickly halted by his healing factor. Wolverine can unsheath any number of his claws at once. Although he must keep his wrists straight at the moment, his claws shoot from his forearms into his hands. When sheathed, the claws are fully within his hands, and thus Wolverine can still bend his wrists. The claws are natural sharp and together than that of a normal bone structure, allowing Wolverine to cut through most types of flesh and natural minerals. Despite the extent of his healing factor, Wolverine is not immortal. If the injuries are extensive enough, especially if they result in the loss of vital organs, large amount of blood, and a loss of physical forms such as having flesh burned away or acid, Wolverine can die. So, due to his extensive training as a soldier, a CIA operative, a samurai, a spy, and a member of the X-Men, Wolverine is an exceptional hand-to-hand combatant. Having mastered virtually every fighting style on Earth, he also trained expert in multiple types of weapons, vehicles, computer systems, explosive, and assassination techniques. Wolverine is fluent in many languages, including Japanese, Russian, Chinese, Cheyenne, Lakota, and Spanish. He also has knowledge of French, Thai, and Vietnamese, and it is said that Wolverine can also communicate with animals. Now, let's move on to Steve Rogers, known as Captain America. His occupation is crime fighter and also a freelance artist. Steve Rogers was born July 4th, 1920, to poor Irish immigrant parents, Sarah and Joseph Rogers. Rogers grew up a frail youth during the Great Depression in America. Little is known about Rogers' early life other than the fact that a strong sense of duty, honor, and humility was insistent in him. Perhaps due to his Irish Catholic upbringing, Rogers' father died when he was a child, and his mother died from a phenomenon, whatever it's called, later when he was in his late teens. And now he weighs 240 pounds and is 6'2" tall. His group affiliation is that he is former member of the Invaders, partner of Bucky known as the Winter Soldier, and current member of the Avengers. Now let's get to Captain America's powers and abilities. The Super Soldier Serum metabolizes and permanently enhances all of Rogers' bodily functions to the peak of human potential. Rogers' physical strength is enhanced to the very peak of human potential, consistently able to sustain lifts of 800 pounds. This strength also extends to his legs, enabling him to leap 20 feet out of a single inbound and 10 feet into the air without running start. He can snap steel handcuffs and chains, throw his shield with enough force to dislodge the turret ring of a tank, and is capable of breaking through wooden walls and steer doors with a single kick. Rogers can also move at speeds equal to that of the absolute finest human athlete, capable of running at a, matter of fact, sustained 30 miles per hour, though he has shown capacity to sprint at twice that pace over shorter distances when necessary. His bones and muscles are denser and harder and are amplified to the highest potential. He is durable enough to the point that if a person beats him with a metal bat stick, the bat will break and Rogers will show a little discomfort. Whoa. This is how he survived other forms of extensive punishment throughout his career, such as falls from several stories, like when he landed on a car from 2,000 feet with no injury. Captain Rogers is greater than that of an Olympic gold medalist. He can coordinate his body with balance, flexibility, and dexterity. Rogers' healing speed and efficiency is at the highest limits of a human potential, which means he can heal faster than most humans. He's also immune to all infections, diseases, and disorders. Also, Captain America cannot become intoxicated by alcohol, drugs, or impurities in the air and is immune to terrestrial diseases. He's also immune to hypnosis or gases that could limit his focus or would limit his focus, actually. He is genetically perfect, and he's an accomplished strategist, pretty much. Next up is Spider-Man. Peter Benjamin Parker was born in Queens to CIA agent Richard and Mary Parker. While Peter was still an infant, his parents were assigned to infiltrate the Algerian-based spy ring controlled by the communist agent, the Red Skull, Albert Malik. The moment the Red Skull learned that Richard and Mary were double agents, he had killed them by one of his agents. Wow. The finisher in an airplane crash overseas and then framed them for treason. Peter went to live with his uncle and aunt Ben and Mary Parker in Forest Hills, New York. They became Peter's parents and raised him as if they're his own son. Over the next 9 years, Peter Parker grew to be extremely bright in science. Just to just say he's smart, okay? No. Peter's shyness and scholastic interests often made him a social outcast and target for bullies, primarily football star Flash Thompson. If you guys didn't know, he's the Rhino too. His nicknames are Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, The Sensational Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man. Man, just forget it. Puny Parker also. But let's just go. While attending a public exhibition demonstrating the safe handling of nuclear laboratory waste materials sponsored by the General Corporation, the 15-year-old Peter Parker was bitten on the hand by a spider that had been irritated by a particle accelerator used in the demonstration. But unnoticeable to him after the spider actually fell from his hand, it bit a girl, Cindy Moon, on the ankle before it died from the radiation. Making his way home afterwards, Peter was almost hit by a car. When Peter jumped out the way, Peter discovered he had somehow gained incredible strength, agility, and the ability to cleanse raws, spider-like traits that he immediately associated with spider bite. Sorry for the blue, please don't. Now let's get to Spider-Man's powers and abilities. One power and ability, whatever it is, wall crawling. Spider-Man's exposure to the mutated spider venom induced a alteration of his engrams, resulting in the ability to mentally control the interatomic attraction between molecular boundary layers. And Spider-Man can climb up walls pretty much. Next is his superhuman strength. Spider-Man possesses superhuman strength, enabling him to press lift many tons. Spider-Man's physical strength is sufficient enough to enable him to lift and throw objects as heavy as a big rig semi-truck with ease. He must also pull his punches and kicks unless fighting someone of similar or greater physical durability. Otherwise, his blows would prove fatal to a normal human being. He has demonstrated that he is strong enough to knock out people with normal durability with as a little tap to the head. As such, he rarely lets himself use all his strength. Next is his superhuman speed. Spider-Man is capable of running and moving at speeds that are far beyond the natural physical limits of the finest human athlete. Wow. Spider-Man has shown to be fast enough to catch up to an accelerating car while on foot, but prefers to travel by web. Spider-Man moves faster than the eye can follow. He also even moves so fast that he appears as blurred. Whatever it is. Alright, next is superhuman stamina. Spider-Man's advanced fatigue toxins during physical activities than ordinary human. This allows him to exert himself physically for much longer periods of time before fatigue begins to impair him. At his peak, Spider-Man can physically exert himself at his peak capacity for several hours before the buildup of fatigue toxins in his blood begins to impair him. His next ability is superhuman durability. Man, I'm rhyming over here. Spider-Man's body is physically tougher and more resistant to some types of injuries than the body of a normal human. and his arm was strong enough to block Quicksilver while the speedster was in motion. Wow. His other ability is superhuman agility. Spider-Man's agility, balance, and body coordination are all enhanced to levels that are far beyond the natural physical limits of the finest human athlete. Spider-Man is extraordinarily limber, and his tendons and connective tissues are as twice as elastic as the average human beings. Despite their enhanced strength, he has combined the agility and acrobatic of the most accomplished circus and acrobats. He can also perform any complicated secret gymnastic stunts such as flips, rolls, and springs. He can easily match or top any Olympic record at gymnastics appearances such as flying rings, climbing ropes, horizontal bars, trampolines, and even surpass the likes of Captain America and Daredevil. Next is his regenerative healing factor. Pretty much most people in Marvel got healing factor besides people that don't have powers. But Spider-Man's increased metabolism allows faster healing. While not on Wolverine's level, it is sufficient enough to recover from the severe injuries from broken bones and a large amount of tissue damage in a matter of several days. During a battle with the villain called the Masked Marauder, Spider-Man is rendered completely blind. However, after about 2 days, his sight was perfect, sensitive for about a day after. In his encounter with Firebrand, Spider-Man suffered severe third-degree burns but completely healed in an unspecified amount of time. Next is his containment immunity. Due to his accelerated metabolism, Spider-Man has a higher tolerance for drugs and diseases than normal humans. He can recover from the effects of larger doses rapidly. During an encounter with the Swarm, Spider-Man was incapacitated by thousands of bee stings, but recovered in less than 24 hours. Spider-Man's equilibrium. Spider-Man possesses the ability to achieve a state of perfect in any position imaginable. Next is superhuman reflexes. Spider-Man's reflections are similarly enhanced and are currently about 40 times greater than those of an ordinary human. In combination with his spider senses, the speed of his reflexes allow him to dodge almost any attack or even gunfire. Given sufficient distance, Spider-Man has even been shown in some cases to be able to dodge gunfire with just his reflexes without spider sense. His spider sense. Spider-Man possessing an danger or spider sense, which warns him of potential immediate danger by the time or sensation of the back of his skull, and links with his superhuman abilities, enabling him to evade almost any injuries, attacks, or whatever. Okay. Bruce Banner, the Incredible Hulk himself. Hulk is 5'9.5" as Bruce Banner, 6'6" as Great Hulk, and 7'8" tall as Savage Hulk, and 7'6" as Professor Hulk. The madder Hulk gets, the bigger he gets and the stronger. Hulk weighs 128 pounds as Bruce Banner, 900 pounds as Great Hulk, 1,040 to 1,400 pounds as Savage Hulk, and 1,150 pounds as Professor Hulk. Banner was present in a bunker at a test site for the first underground test detonation of the Gamma Bomb. Observing that a civilian had delayed the countdown while he tried to escort the civilian to safety, Starsky, a secret Soviet agent, did nothing, confident that Banner would die in an explosion, bringing the project to a halt. Reaching the civilian, a teenager named Rick Jones, Banner threw him into a protective trench. Before Banner could get himself to safety, the Gamma Bomb detonated, and intense waves of radiation reached to the surface. Banner was irritated with highly charged radioactive particles due to an unknown genetic factor in his body. Banner was not killed by the radiation, which instead caused him to frequently transform into the vast, powerful green-skinned humanoid monster named the Hulk. He is allied with formerly the Avengers, the Defenders, the Fantastic Four, the Pantheon, Horsemen of Apocalypse, and the Warbound. Usually when Warbound, most people that know comics or whatever, is Planet Hulk and pretty much that. We're not using World War Hulk or World Breaker since it's the Avengers versus the Justice League, so we're going to use the Avengers Hulk. Next up, it's the Hulk's powers. Alright, Hulk, once the madder he gets, the stronger he gets. Hulk has transposed about 1,000 miles in a single leap. He also has super jumping also too. The Hulk can inhale great quantities of air for several effects. For example, he can expel the air at great speeds to knock down forests and even armed troops. The Hulk is essentially limitless physical strength. In effect, upon actually estimating the Hulk's raw potential, the cosmic entity Beyonder stated outright that the Hulk's strength is limitless. The Hulk's body counteracts fatigue poisons that build up in his muscles during physical activity. In an enraged state, the Hulk is capable of exerting himself at a peak physical capacity, for several days before fatigue begins to affect him. In addition to immense strength, the Hulk body possesses a high degree of resistance to physical injuries. The Hulk has survived tremendous amount of punishment throughout his career. Despite the Hulk's high resistance to physical harm, it is possible to cause the Hulk injury. However, the Hulk is capable of regenerating damage or possible to cause a Hulk destroy areas of the Hulk's body, even his limbs, with much greater speed and eventually than ordinary human. In fact, the Hulk was able to systematically regenerate his internal organs and tissues in an alternate reality. The Hulk is completely invulnerable to all known Earth-based diseases and viruses, including AIDS. The Hulk has prolonged a lifespan. Regardless his size, Hulk's superhumanly strong legs allow him to run at speeds that are well beyond the natural physical limits of even the finest human athlete. Wow. Now let's move on to Almighty Thor. As a Norse god of thunder and lightning, Thor wields one of the greatest weapons ever made. I believe it's the greatest weapon ever made since nobody can pick it up. The enchanted hammer Mjolnir. While others have described Thor as an over-muscled, old-fist imbecile, he's quite smart and compassionate. He's self-assured, and he would never ever stop fighting for a worthwhile cause. Thor is 6'6" and 640 pounds. He is affiliated with teams such as Gods of Asgard, the Avengers, Queen's Vengeance, God Pack, and Thor Corps. Next up is his powers and abilities. As the son of Odin and Gaia, man, I forgot how to pronounce that name, Thor's strength, endurance, and resistance to injury are greater than the vast majority of his superhuman race. He is extremely long-lived, though not completely immune to aging, immune to conventional disease, and highly resistant to injury. His flesh and bones are several times denser than humans, period. As Lord of Asgard, Thor possesses the Odin Force, which enable him to tap into the nearest infinite resource of cosmic and mystical energies, enhancing all of his abilities. With the vast magical power of the Odin Force, Thor was even able to dent Captain America's virtually indestructible shield with Mjolnir. Thor complete his powers. And finally, and last but not least, is the man who made it all, Tony Stark, Iron Man himself. Real name Anthony Tony Stark, height 6'1" in his armor, and he is 6'6". The groups he is in is the Avengers, Initiative, Hellfire Club, Outer Circle, Shield, Illuminati, Thunderbolts, Force Works, Queen's Vengeance, and Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, it's the Justice League. First, let's start off with Superman. The planet Krypton was on the brink of destruction. Married scientists Jor-El and Laura Van built a rocket they could use to save their unborn son Kal-El in his Justin chamber. Sorry, man, this is my first time doing this. I'm sorry to have you guys holding up so long. You guys waiting for the war, so let's get these stats over with. Wanting him to reclaim the fullness in life denied him by the sterility of Krypton culture. His parents sent him to Earth, where exposure to the yellow sun would charge his cells into living solar batteries and gift him with incredible powers. Now let's get to his powers and abilities. The exact limits of Superman's strength is unknown, but he has been shown as capable of lifting foreign excess of 1 billion tons. Different periods and intensities of exposure to Earth's solar radiation can cause his strength to fluctuate over time. His body is high and vulnerable due to his superhumanly diseased cellular and atomical structure, as well as his radiating bioelectric aura. Superman can potentially live indefinitely with little to no aging to his being, so as long as he continuously retains enough yellow star radiation in his body, Superman is capable of flying at supersonic speeds, over 2,000 miles per hour in a planetary atmosphere, and at faster than the speed of light, actually. While in space, he is capable of moving, reacting, running, and flying at superhuman speeds. While it's not as flash as... Yeah, he's not as fast as Flash. Superman can fly at speeds faster than light and is considered one of the fastest beings in the universe. Superman can create hurricane force winds by blowing and also chill his breath to freeze the target. Superman can fire beams of intense heat from his eyes. These beams can be made visible, allowing him to work undetected, and can be adjusted to affect matter on a microscopic level. Superman also possesses a superior sensory arrangement of visual capabilities. His weakness are kryptonite and magic. Next for the Justice League is Batman. Real name is Bruce Wayne. Nickname is Batman. Height is 6'2" and his weight is 210 pounds. Affiliated with the Justice League, Batman Family, Batman Incorporated, The Outsiders, Wayne Enterprises, Club of Heroes, formerly White Lantern Corps, and the Sinestro Corps. Let's get to his abilities. His indomitable will, although he has no superhuman powers, sorry to you Batman fans that actually thought he had powers, Batman's unstoppable determination and his strength of will make him extremely formidable opponent. Intimidation. It is widely known that Batman has the ability to instill fear in others, to the extent that even people that know him best are intimidated by him. Batman regularly forcing common criminals to flee in terror despite there being no evidence that he will actually kill anyone. Interrogation. Batman is adept in interrogation techniques, often using law enforcement methods as well as torture. Peak human condition. Through these intense training, specialized diet, and biofeedback treatments, Batman represents the pinnacle of human physical powers. Peak human strength. He also has superhuman strength. Batman regularly bench presses at least 1,000 pounds during his exercise routine. This means he's capable of amazing feats such as punching a SWAT officer through a brick wall. His human reflexes. Bruce's reflexes were honed to such a degree that he also has caught one of Green Arrow's mid-flight when he tried to shoot him. His human speed, he can run at speeds comparable to the finest competing athletes. His human endurance, His endurance was comparable to that of the finest Olympic participant. His lung capacity was so great that he could hold his breath underwater for 3 minutes and 15 seconds. He can survive in airless vacuum of space for exactly 27 seconds. His agility was greater than that of a Chinese acrobat and an Olympic gold medalist gymnast. His acrobatics, he is proficient in gymnastics and acrobatics. Martial arts. Bruce Wayne is well trained in multiple martial arts. He is known as a man who has mastered many forms of martial arts. His weaponry, through his martial arts training, he has become an expert on all melee weapons. Wayne has displayed exceptional sword fighting capability and proficiency with knives, sticks, and various other weapons. He practices during his combat sessions to keep his skills intact, but he prefers unarmed combat. His stealth. His ninjutsu training has made him a master at stealth and capable of breaching high security facilities without being detected. His genius level intellect. Batman is brilliant, virtually peerless. He's a detective, a strategist, a scientist, tactician, and a commander. He is widely regarded as one of the keenest analytical minds on the planet. Given his lack of superpowers, he often possesses and uses cunning and planning to outwit his foes rather than simply outfighting them. Let's go to Green Arrow. Green Arrow is a vigilante superhero who fights crime using archery, martial arts, and technology. And his secret identity is Oliver Queen. Living in Star City as a wealthy playboy and billionaire industrialist turned outspoken, socially progressive politician. He is the leader of Team Arrow. He has also been a member of the Justice League and the Outsiders. Now let's go to his abilities. His abilities of Green Arrow. Acrobatics. He has displayed on many occasions that he is an expert in acrobatics and often uses this skill while evading enemy fire. His archery. Oliver Queen is perhaps the finest archer ever known. He claims to be able to shoot 29 arrows per minute. He stated this himself in the Sound of Violence story, or when he corrected Black Canary for saying 26. He has a wide variety of trick arrows, ranging from Ebola arrows to time bomb arrows in his famous boxing glove arrow. In recent years, he has used these arrows sparingly, preferred the time-tested simple arrow. Green Arrow has shown the ability to shoot an arrow down the barrel of a gun, pierce a drop of water as it leaves a tap, and shoot almost any part of the human body. Although he aims only to wound and not kill when he shoots, he once shot 2 arrows down 2 different gun barrels while upside down in mid-flip while jumping off a building. Firearms. He has displayed great accuracy with handguns and machine guns. Martial arts. He is proficient in several forms to hand-to-hand combat, including judo, kickboxing, and karate. Next up is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is an Amazon warrior princess and one of the most powerful superheroes in the DC universe. Her real name is Diana. She is 6 foot tall and 135 pounds. Her powers and abilities are superhuman strength, meaning she is even said to be stronger than Hercules. Superhuman durability, flight, superhuman speed. According to Flash, she can easily keep up with him if he is at regular cruising speed. And also an enhanced healing factor. And her whip is also unbreakable. Next up it's the Flash. Like I said earlier in the video, I'm going to use the Barry Allen Flash because he seems more popular and he is the original. Okay? Real name is Barry Allen. Nickname is the Flash. His height is 5'11" and 179 pounds. As the Flash, Barry later becomes a founding member of the Justice League of America, where he befriended Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, with whom he had many adventures with and without the Justice League. Later still, he discovered that Jay Garrick was real and became friends with him, as we know. Here comes his powers and abilities. Speed Force Generator. Barry Allen is the very source and creator of the Speed Force and generates it with every step he takes. For this very reason, he is unaffected if any other speedster tries to steal or drain his speed. Barry has shown that he cannot be stopped by any force if he absorbs the Speed Force. I was about to say the Feed Force. Barry Allen has the potential to be the fastest of the Flashes and is arguably one of the fastest beings in all of existence. He is currently fast enough to easily break any dimensional barrier and even enter the Speed Force itself, and is one of the few people to ever escape from it. He can reach any speed he can imagine and more. His accelerated healing. The Speed Force connection allows the speedster's body to recover from injury much faster than normal beings. His enhanced senses. The Speed Force enhances the speedster's senses, allowing him to perceive the world at a rate attuned how fast they can react. His superhuman stamina. He has superhuman stamina. He has superhuman speed, of course. The main effect of the connection is to allow the speedster to move at a vast superhuman speeds. Time travel. Barry is capable of using his speed to break the time barrier, allowing him to travel throughout various points of times. Barry is capable of using his speed to break the time barrier, allowing him to travel throughout various points in time. Dimensional time travel. Barry is capable of breaking the dimensional barrier with his speed to traverse between dimensions. He can do this to enter the Speed Force at will. Now, the last one is Green Lantern. Hal Jordan is the most well-known Green Lantern. He was the first human ever inducted into the Green Lantern Corps and has been heralded as possibly the greatest Green Lantern of all time. Hal was also a founding member of the Justice League of America, and he also has been known as Parallax in the Spectrum. Let's move on to his powers and abilities. Green Lantern Remastery. Jordan's constructs are among the most powerful. When he creates them, he often witnesses an afterburner behind Jordan of all the stray thoughts unconnected to the job at hand. He had boxing, aviation, leadership, Green Lantern, energy construct creation, force field, energy projection, and flight.
Here comes Spider-Man!
Fight now! Avengers, assemble!
Quit while you can.
Athena died!
Go! Fall in! Get flat!
Slow, stupid, and ugly.
You're afraid.
You like chocolate.
Avengers Flash! fight! Our reactor full power! What part of the invincible Iron Man didn't you understand? Sabotage! Out of line!
I've got you, Diana.
You look strong, but Hulk's strongest there is!
Hate to disagree with you.
Hulk smash!
This is for your own good.
I never surrender! Hyper!
You're about to become a pincushion.
You think I'm going down to some pampered punk like you? That's why I'm a super soldier.
Circles around.
Here comes Spidey!
Eat my dust. That's the Speed Force.
Ooh! Shock!
Take that.
Spider sense is tingling. It's just not your day, pal.
Now you face the God of Thunder!
Another inept mate.
Because of my respect for thee, I shall end this quickly.
I'm ending this.
I got this.
It's just not your day, pal.
This ends now.
Together!
Wet ball!
So, you doing anything after this?
Sorry to disappoint. Face it, you're done.
Wet play! Wet ball! Get ready!
Here's the big one! Proton Cannon! Told you. A nice candlelight dinner would have been better.
Having fun? Spider sense is tingling.
Try this on.
Mighty blow! Away with you!
I shall never tire!
Mighty thunder! Feel heaven's wrath! I have dishonored Asgard.
Cutting in.
Circa barrage!
You're done.
I'll crush you like the others.